It's Tuesday, December the 7th. Grozny falls, Yeltsin to follow. World Cup, England versus Germany. Will the Krauts never learn? Blair praises the north of Islington. Please welcome the man with the biggest north and south in TV. It's Mr. Iain Lee.
Shut up now. I ain't got much time. Good evening and welcome to the 11 o'clock show. Now, north-south divide? According to Tony Blair, there's no such thing. Ah! The people of Liverpool seem to think there is. They're always complaining that they're poverty-stricken. Well, what do you expect? Europe gave them a huge grant of £840 million, and what did they spend it on? Shell suits and heroin, of course. Everyone knows there's a divide. The North likes to think it's more friendly. Hey, look, we're so friendly, we can leave front door open, that's how friendly we are. Tickle your balls, sir. Yeah. That's why you get burgled all the time. It's not being friendly, it's stupidity, all right? If you use a coat hanger as a car aerial in Manchester, somebody will steal it. Do the same thing in Islington, you'll come back to find someone's hung a nice Hugo Boss jacket on it. Look at what I'm wearing. Another survey shows that there are more millionaires in the North West than ever before. Yeah, and they all play for Manchester United. Don't really count. Football joke, I don't get it either. Know nothing about it. Fine. And besides, the government does have policies specifically designed to give money to Northerners. It's not our fault they just can't pick the right numbers on Saturday nights. I'm standing here till you laugh more than that. Thanks. Face it, Tony. There's only one way of getting rid of the divide between the north of England and the south of England. Move the Scottish border down to Stevenage and build a much bigger wall. That's simple. But enough of this regionalist ribaldry. Ladies and gentlemen, please whip it up for Daisy Donovan. Little Miss Popular. Today... Don't do that. Makes my stomach turn. Daisy, how do you think we can make the North more prosperous?
Well, Iain, following the demise of the steel and shipbuilding industries, I think they should be encouraged to lay the foundations of a new economic power base.
Sounds good. Any ideas?
I say resurrect Bullseye. Give Northerners a chance to win a much-needed powerboat.
Let's have a look at what you could have won.
That was my Jim Bone. Do you want to see Mr. Rogers?
Not really. I'd rather see you not...
Shh. On tonight's show, I'll be talking to former Question Time Supremo Sir Robin Day.
You joined the Royal Artillery during the war.
Yes.
Did you enjoy curling out a 25-pounder?
And later on, we'll be getting the dope from ex-drug smuggler Howard Marks. Now it's time for tonight's headlines. Tonight's top stories.
Shocked police have caught a 3-year-old dealing drugs. Neighbours say they're not surprised, as her favourite bedtime story is Charlie in the Charlie Factory.
The parents responded by saying that they couldn't see what was wrong in giving their 3-year-old a little smack from time to time.
Police say she's a record as long as her arm. It's about that big.
The girl is being questioned by police but refuses to talk. Well, she can't talk.
She's a tiny baby.
Crim.
A social worker said the little girl doesn't know the difference between right or wrong, but that she is surprisingly good at fractions. 8/16, 16ths, come on, come with me. Apparently, when undercover cops asked for some really good shit, the suspect handed over a nappy.
A group of singing hamsters are thought to be the main threat to Cliff Richard for the coveted Christmas #1, which gives us a marvellous opportunity to say that Cliff Richard is hoping to keep the hamsters in the #2 slot.
According to a Birmingham crematorium, the single is one of the most requested songs for funerals. This is thought to be an error after thousands of people decided the song was the last thing they wanted to hear.
As another multi-million-dollar satellite probe goes missing, questions are asked about recruitment at NASA Ground Control.
Spacecraft, this is Mission Control. We read you. Over.
A consumer group has denounced the TV licence fee as unfair because an unemployed person pays the same amount as a millionaire. But obviously, this isn't fair because the unemployed person sits on their fat arse all day watching talk shows while the millionaire is out working really hard.
A shocked judge has ruled that French Connection's FC UK ad campaign is tasteless and obnoxious. A company spokesman said the judge was just being a miserable old Whackner.
And those were tonight's headlines.
Now, the race for London Mayor continues to make the headlines.
Here's Paul Garner with his report.
The race for London Mayor turned into a pantomime today as Tory frump Theresa Gorman announced her intentions to enter as a candidate, only to be immediately withdrawn by William Hague. Father-to-be, Tony Blair, was quick to gain political capital from the turnaround, saying, "I only wish I could have entered and then pulled out as quickly as Gorman did." Ironically, only last night, scraggy Essex girl Gorman insisted that she was a good bet for London Mayor. She also said other good bets were that Shergar would win the next national and that Louise Woodward would star in a new Shake and Vac commercial. Gorman had hoped to win William Hague's support by backing his stand against plans to abolish Clause 28, which would allow homosexuality to be promoted in schools. As part of her campaign, she had planned to release this hard-hitting video to show the consequences of such a move.
People of London, do we really want our kids watching programmes like this?
Labour's efforts to find a mayor have also been blighted by infighting. Frank Dobson has rejected claims that he is clinically depressed and accused Ken Livingstone of being behind the rumours. Although the former GLC loony denied any dirty tricks campaign, there does appear to be some doubt about new footage showing Dobson as an unsuitable candidate.
Hello, I'm Frank Dobson. I'm really depressed and I'd like some illegal porn, please, to cheer me up.
Aren't you Ken Livingstone?
No, I'm not me. Shh, I'm Frank Dobson, you idiot.
The Tories' chances of winning the race for London's mayor now look more remote than ever. True blue eyes are now focused on Stephen Norris, hoping that he can woo voters to the ballot box the same way he woos Vag to his bollock box. This is Paul Garner, the 11 o'clock show, outside Conservative Central Office.
And now, for more on that story, go over live to Paul Garner at Conservative Central Office. Paul, first Geoffrey Archer, now Theresa Gorman. The Tories just can't find a suitable candidate, can they?
No, Ian, it would seem not. And interestingly, a pattern does appear to be emerging with all the Tory candidates. Theresa Gorman has had trouble with her hormones. Geoffrey Archer had trouble when a hormoned. And Stephen Norris had mubble when a trawhoned.
Right, sorry, the last one doesn't make any sense at all.
No, it doesn't make sense. The pattern doesn't really work, does it, no?
Right, moving on. The slurs against Frank Dobson. Is there any truth in the story that he's severely depressed at the moment?
No, Ian, I think it's all rumours. Nobody can see any reason why a Captain Birdseye lookalike who's got about as much chance of becoming mayor as Cliff Richard has of getting fishy fingers should be depressed at all.
Paul, we're going to have to leave it there. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Ian.
Britain is a nation of randy youths. At the weekend, a child of 13 became the youngest father of twins. And today, some reports on a 16-year-old who's already had 2 kids. It seems that full penetrative sex is the new Pokemon.
But what's life like for teenage parents? Well, much like it is for other parents, except Dad can't grow a moustache and Mum's best friend is a Furby. Which is why we've compiled this helpful guide for our school-age mums and dads. Our teenage parents'
Do's and don'ts. Do.
Accept your responsibility as a parent and show the baby proudly to your friends. Don't.
Try and swap it with your mate Gary for a conker and a look at his sister's knockers.
Do.
Make the child an important part of your world. Don't.
Use it as a football post down the park when you haven't got a jumper.
Do.
Make sure your child has a healthy diet. Don't.
Feed it entirely on tango, just because with every 1,000 ring pulls you get a free BMX headlight.
Do.
Give your child a name it can be proud of. Don't.
Call it Crash Bandicoot, or if it's your second, Crash Bandicoot 2, The Quest for Orin Rock.
Do.
Make it clear to the child what a loving relationship you have with its mother. Don't.
Come out of the bedroom and ask it to smell your finger.
And that was our teenage parents' do's and don'ts.
Now, Don't you go anywhere, because I've got to have a word with you. Daisy, I want you to play a game. Spot the odd one out if you can, OK? Darren Day, Robin Day, Sunday Bloody Sunday.
Easy. Robin Day. The other two are atrocities that we'd all rather forget about.
That's correct, Daisy. But for a bonus point, can you tell me another famous day?
Yes, Friday, because that's when I met Sir Robin Day. Take a look.
Sir Robin Day, thank you very much for being with us today.
Pleasure.
You were born in Hampstead in 1923. Do you ever go back to the Heath to feel a young man?
I wasn't born by the Heath. I was born in Hampstead Garden suburb, which is some way from the Heath. But no, I don't go back there. I have been back, but I don't go back there.
I wondered if you'd ever mastered the five-knuckle shuffle.
Could you say that again?
Have you ever mastered the five-knuckle shuffle when you were at Oxford?
The five-muscle shuffle?
Knuckle. Punting.
Punting. Ah, yes, I have punted, but not with any great excellence.
You were a keen rower at Oxford.
No, I wasn't. I was the cox, and I then weighed 18 stone.
I was going to say, because I saw a picture of you.
Yes.
And I've seen some cocks in my time, but I have to say you're the biggest cox I've ever seen. Amazing.
Don't say that too quickly.
Really? You joined the Royal Artillery during the war.
Yes.
Did you enjoy curling out a 25-pounder?
No, because when I was firing a 25-pounder at a firing camp in Northumberland, I damaged my eardrums, which was rather interesting.
Were you straining too much?
No, it was a loud bang.
But I'd imagine when you are preparing those questions, you have to sift through them and kind of cream off the hot ones. And do you ever think, you know, say when you were doing Harold Macmillan, that you thought, you know, he's never going to swallow my hot cream?
Well, you don't use bad phrases like that.
Well, that's the end of part one. Coming up in part two, we'll be talking to Mr. Nice, Howard Marks.
Before that, following last week's devolution of power to Northern Ireland, tonight saw Ulster's first regional version of Question Time.
And now, calm down. As our turbulent century draws to its close, we bring you the second of Ricky Gervais's special reports on the ideas that have changed our lives forever. Tonight, the impact of Freud.
Sigmund Freud is regarded by most to be the father of psychoanalysis. He held that the repression of infantile sexuality would lead to adult neuroses, and that these neuroses would manifest themselves in the dreamlike state. We've all got theories, haven't we? I mean, I say never trust a man who doesn't drink. Not even a reformed alcoholic. You can always have a couple every day, can't you? So that's a theory. It's as valid as beardy bollocks, and is all that dreams about sex. He was hung up on sex, right? I have this dream, right? I'm driving a tube train in and out of a tunnel, and I'm going fast because I'm panicked because my nan's on board and she's giving birth to my girlfriend, actually. And my dad, who's the station master, is really angry with me, and he's trying to stop the train with a flag. It's not a flag, it's like a big salami, and he's going to punish me. And I get really nervous and I spill my milk all over the place. I suppose Freud would read something into that. Next week, Karl Marx. Commie bastard.
Welcome back to the 11 o'clock show.
Daniela Westbrook is a talented girl. As well as working an 18-hour day on the set of EastEnders, she still finds time to snort hundreds of pounds worth of coke up her collapsing snout. And what's more, she never slips out of character as that slightly dirty, soiled boiler who looks like she just worked off a dog round the back of a ghost train.
But despite this, the Beeb are planning to ditch her from EastEnders, partly because they have to uphold certain moral standards, and partly because Bepe's had enough of necking a bird with a bleeding hooter.
In certain sections of the media, the knives are already out. But we say, give the Cockney coke nose a break, which is why we're unleashing right now all possible punchlines to Daniela jokes, so the poor girl can live in peace.
Daniela Westbrook is a remarkable character actress. As Sam Butcher, she has captured the real spirit of an East End girl, having to cope with the struggles of daily life. Her marriage to Ricky was a superbly crafted storyline to which Daniela brought real depth and understanding.
Her personal life has been much discussed in the popular press, yet she's always maintained a dignified and restrained composure. She's a loving mother who's raised her child in often difficult circumstances. This is a small blip in the career of Miss Westbrook, and we feel sure she'll return to our screens soon.
And to show our support for Daniela, we promise we will never show images like this again. The nation was shocked today as The Sun ran a front-page story on Britain's youngest ever drug dealer, aged just 3.
We'd just like to point out, of course, that Daniela Westbrook's son has not been implicated. He's only 2.
One man who could teach the next generation a thing or two about dealing drugs is our guest tonight, the one-time world's most wanted man, Howard Marks.
Nice to meet you. You too. I've enjoyed your book.
Thank you.
Thanks very much for coming on, Howard. Are you shocked by the news that a 3-year-old girl has been selling drugs?
I was surprised, yes. And...
They're getting younger these days,
yeah,
aren't they?
You know...
Do you think it's wrong?
Yes, I think it probably is wrong to start selling drugs when you've got no idea how to do it.
No idea how to speak.
Now, you still take drugs, don't you?
Yeah.
Would you take them with your kids?
Oh, yes, I have done with my kids, yeah.
How did you bring that up without being slightly awkward and...
Well, that part of my past hasn't been that well hidden, actually.
That's true.
When did you decide you wanted to be a drug smuggler?
When I was 25.
Right, Howard, that's interesting. Did you tell your careers advisor?
No. As you might have guessed, I didn't have one.
Now, you went to Oxford University. Is that where you first introduced to drugs?
Yeah, that's where I first smoked cannabis. Yeah.
Now, in your book, Mr. Nice, you claim you were recruited by MI6 as a student to work for them. Is that true?
No, I wasn't recruited as a student. A friend of mine was, and he later recruited me after I'd finished my student days. Yeah.
What happens when you become a member of MI6? Does that give you a gun and stuff? And you get a fast car?
I took it more as a licence to deal rather than a licence to kill.
So the MI6 encourage you to deal drugs?
No. But I used my MI6 connection.
Clever, like it.
You also had connections with the IRA, didn't you? What was your relationship with them?
I worked a lot with a guy who claimed he was a member of the IRA. But I have to add that he is the only person, I think, ever who the IRA claimed isn't a member of the IRA. And they haven't even said that about Thatcher.
You disowned him? Now, at your peak, how much cannabis were you smuggling a year?
Several tens of tons.
How much money did that make you?
Several tens of millions of pounds.
How did the operation work? You couldn't have just stuck it down your sock or put it in the book?
No.
How did you do it?
Containers were useful.
Don't they check containers?
Not very much.
You'd think you'd open it up and have a look, wouldn't you?
There are too many for them to open up. I mean, they do a kind of profile check.
Safety in numbers?
Yes, basically. I mean, they probably open some randomly.
Now, your book's called Mr. Nice, which is one of your aliases. Which other ones did you use?
Oh, there were several dozen. One was Tunnicliffe, one was Hayes, another was Albertson.
Was it not difficult, I mean, because you're obviously caned all the time, was it not difficult to remember what name you're supposed to be using?
No, I never found it difficult. No.
Is it a glamorous lifestyle, smuggling drugs?
Yes. Yes, it is.
It is, really? There we go, oh, no. We're just going to say, of course, we don't condone drugs, smuggling or smoking. Been told to say that by the channel. Anyway, carry on. How glamorous was it? Having spent 9 years in jail and not having any money to show for it, would you say your career as a smuggler was worth it, or were they wasted years?
Oh, they weren't wasted years, no. I mean, obviously, it's not the kind of CV of a successful smuggler, you know, being caught and banged up for 9 years. I wasn't very good at it, obviously. But I don't look back on those years as being wasted.
Would you recommend it as a career to someone?
As long as they could handle the prison, yeah.
If you're so off your tree all the time, how can you even be asked to leave the room and go and smuggle drugs around the world?
Well, a lot of the time you don't. You can do quite a lot on the phone.
Do you think cannabis should be legalised?
Of course.
Now, You're in favour of the legalisation of cannabis and say that selling drugs hasn't ruined anybody's life. Well, we've uncovered some evidence from ordinary people which may make you question that belief. Have a look at this, see what you think.
The reason I have long hair is because I smoke a lot of dope and I don't have time to get it cut. And it's all because of you, Howard. You.
I sit around all day eating biscuits and smoking dope. It's all because of you, Howard Marks.
Thank you, Howard. Because of you, I sell so many cigarette papers and sweets. Thank you very much.
What do you say to those people in your defence?
I think they're great. I don't even feel under attack.
Ladies and gentlemen, Howard Marks. Now, I'll tell you something. It is very easy to make light of the north-south divide, but me and Daisy actually think it's quite a serious issue, don't we, Daisy?
Yeah, we certainly do, Iain, and that's why we sent Iain up to Grimsby to find the truth out with this special report.
As if I go up there and talk to those whippet-loving, cloth-cap, gravy-supping pit-posing folk. No, I went to London to talk to some real people.
The papers this week are full of the news that the north-south divide is increasing. But is this really the case? Or is it just a bunch of whinging northerners making a fuss so they can distract our attention while they go off and do another dole swindle somewhere? Well, I've been here to London, in the south, to find out. Now, it's about this story in the papers, the north-south divide. Okay. Do you think there's a north-south divide?
What part north? North London?
Should we... Would it help if we built a road linking the north and the south? Do you think that would encourage people to go up there?
No.
Describe England to me.
All right. Here's London.
That's your ring piece.
Yeah. There's Wales, around about up here.
Right.
About 4 hours on train. And Scotland's up here, and then we got all Manchester and where the Scousers are from, the Mancunians, all them lot.
Right. And that part of England is called?
North.
The North, that's, you got it. If we give the North money, they'll just spend it on hairspray and drugs, won't they?
Well, I wouldn't totally agree with that. I wouldn't totally agree with it.
How much would you agree on a scale of 1 to 10 with that statement?
1 to 10? About 6 to 10.
6 to 10, that's fair enough. Look off to your vest and your shorts.
You're mad, aren't you?
Well, that's what the Northerners do. Up there, north, in December freezing cold, they don't care. They're in their pants and their vests. Now, if you can do that, then you can be tough enough to be a Northerner. In a major city, you're never more than 5 feet away from a Northerner.
No, that's probably true, yes.
Oh, hang on, sorry, that's not true. A rat, I meant to say, sorry. What do you think is the difference between the north and the south?
Because they're arseholes.
But you're standing here in North London with just wearing just a pair of red pants. So there we have it. While the majority of southerners are completely ignorant about our northern cousins, the great north-south divide will always exist. But I, for one, will be able to mingle completely unnoticed. Hey up, Iain Lee, 11 o'clock show, London.
Just in.
It seems NASA have wasted $100 million on a Mars polar lander. A spokesman said the last time $100 million was spent on Mars, Vanessa Feltz was having a particularly bad week.
Noel Gallagher says in an interview with The Sun that he has already forgotten what the old Oasis sounded like. Well, we can help him. It's the Beatles.
A boy of 13 has become the father of twins. His mother said he's very mature for his age. When asked would the children be breastfed, he replied, "You said breasts, brilliant."
Newspapers have revealed details of Posh Spice's spending habits. Apparently, she blows £66,000 a month. That's £10,000 on fast cars, £20,000 on gifts, £15,000 on private jets and £2.85 on food.
And that was the news just in. I don't know if I like the tone about the gentleman. You've not seen me doing it. Daisy, stop talking, we've not got much time. That's about it for tonight. Just time to tell you about tomorrow night. Yep, the British are coming, as we're joined by Chariots of Fire director David Putnam.
But before we go, with Christmas just days away, American toy manufacturers have been swamped by demand for this year's hottest gift, my little watchtower.
Good night.
Good night.
For more alternative news, the team return tomorrow at 11 o'clock. Next Tuesday sees the pilot episode of Smart Hearts, a fly-on-the-wall documentary. And I mean that literally. 3 people open their lives to the cameras for 12 months. And that's next Tuesday night at 11:05.